Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking episode number 84, I guess, actually. Yesterday, the fucked up part was that I actually haven't been uploading a day before, so not yesterday, but the day before. But today there will be 4 episodes, so I've put the first two up, 2 in the morning and 2 in the morning, and today there will actually be 2 more. Because I quite forced myself to really, push up the productivity rate on the weekends, and especially on the weekends, because then I really have the time for just doing these things. And I really now have to really emphasize that I am so fucking pissed today, and I do not know why. It's not quite working out for me. Even though I have been sleeping enough, this was actually the first time in the whole week that I've been sleeping more than 6 or 7 hours. I just, slept 8 hours from 2 in the morning to 10 actually, which is, but in general, something I do not quite like, because I pretty much like to get up so early in the morning that I kind of feel like that I'm the first one, and especially if there is actually no one. This is one of the most important things to me, because I don't know, I don't quite like it when there are other people up when I'm up. This is just it. This is just it. But I really hope that this episode today and the next episode that I'm going to record today will actually just, make me a little bit happier, because then I quite feel like, even though the thing I've been doing, so I just had to design something for school. I initially was just pretty pumped about it, that I can actually do it, and I kind of really was happy that I can do it. But then it really turned out that it is a quite long way to go, and it's not like, yeah, I'll just do it for 2 hours or something, or 1 hour, which is, definitely not, it's quite a lot of time actually, 1 to 2 hours I could have used for my business or my social media things, practically. But the thing is, it turned out to last like 5 hours, which is just pretty enormous if you just get up at 10 o'clock and then 5 hours added to it, then it's actually already 3 p.m. But I'm pumped for this episode, quite, even though I was just really so fucking pissed before this fucking episode, and I do not know why. This is the fucked up part about it, but it gives me such a great energy for this fucking episode today. So I'm actually on a stream right now as well, and I hope there is not so much background noise that it is really bothering you. But as you can see in the background, so here we are going to talk about the unconscious mind, or the subconscious mind actually, which is actually a thing that I've been really quite thinking about just for 5 years or so, until, or just as my journey of self-development, or just, really listening to self-development speeches and so on. This was really kind of point where I just was quite interested into the subconscious mind and what it actually does. And at my point of view, it is something so fucking important and so fucking, really something to look at and something to really, talk about as well. And therefore, I can really tell you something that I found pretty interesting. And I was quite, I'm quite already just, all the time listening to Gary Vee's speeches or Gary Vee's podcasts in general, because they get me pumped. And so if you do, really want to get something out of life, just stop this fucking episode and go to Gary Vee's content. You learn so much more from him than you can ever learn from me at the time right now. So not ever, maybe I'm getting just pretty knowledgeable in the long run. But for now, I really just should invite you, and I am inviting you to go to his content and go through his shit and not mine. But we are going to talk about the subconscious mind, something I've been really pumped about for a pretty long time. So it's Incognito, a book by David Eagleman, and it is a psychology book actually, and I've been looking for a psychology book because it is quite interesting, and for me it feels like, giving me more value than the most other book genres that are, quite available. Even though self-help books are also quite great, but often it is just, I see that, these who are pretty interesting to me seem to be more in the psychology way or psychology area, which, then just led me to really go into that area, pretty consciously, haha, and, pick there something. So Incognito by David Eagleman shows us how the human mind works, especially or specifically the relationship between conscious and all that is not conscious. So I would actually say that is subconscious called, so the subconscious brain actually. But let's see, the 3 sentences summary or this book in 3 sentences. Our conscious mind is only aware of a tiny fraction of what goes on, both within us and outside us, which is actually true, because I think our brain just filters everything out that is some kind of not that important or some kind of not that good for us even. I actually think that nature or whoever gave us the ability to just, ignore things, quite simply said, that are, maybe harmful for us or maybe not that good for us, or maybe that might lead to something bad or something, I don't know. But I think there's actually some kind of filter in our brain. The second one is our mate is made up of competing forces and beliefs. I don't know what that means. It might actually be some kind of spelling mistake of the author of this article. The third one is genetics are important, but who you are and your actions of the results of genetics are important, but who you are and your actions of the results of too many variables to predict anything. What the fuck? So I think the author just wants to say that genetics are important, but it actually does then depend on what you're doing your whole life long, your whole day long, which then determines who you're gonna be. You can have the best genetics for bodybuilding, but if you do not, build your body, you will never get a bodybuilder. So just, as easy as it is. So chapter 1, there is someone in my head, but it's not me. David Eagleman says that most of what we do, think and feel is not in our conscious control, which is totally true. I think most of our decisions are just subconscious and it seems like somebody else is taking them. Consciousness is a minor part in the operation of the brain, and it has little access and even less knowledge of the process taking beneath the hood. You can easily realize when you hit the brake pedal even before you know why, which is actually true. This is you just do it subconsciously. Find someone attractive but can't really explain why. Yeah. Hear your name even though you weren't listening on the conversation. Actually true. It often appears or just often happens that someone is calling my name and I just hear my name and then can just, rapidly turn around and just be like, yeah, what's up, man? What do you need? But yeah, so even when you think that you came up with something, in truth, it wasn't probably a moment of genius, but your brain did all the work in silence before the answer finally came up to the conscious part of the brain. This is actually something I haven't been thinking about, but it would make sense actually. It would definitely make sense that, you just consciously. Maybe it's also something why I'm so fucking angry and pissed today. Maybe there's something that I'm just suppressing that, I do not really want to know it consciously, but my subconscious mind is just so pissed and knows exactly why. This even can't be the thing. It even can be the thing, sorry. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not talking about shit right now. It actually could be. So chapter 1, the testimony of the senses, what is experience really like? David Eagleman says that most of our experience is a personal and a subjective construction. We are not really perceiving objectively what's out there, but simply our own interpretation of it, which is totally true, which, it makes sense. And our brain makes all types of assumptions that allows it to save time and resources, says the author. This might actually be the reason why our fucking brain has a filter. It would make sense because it would just take up so fucking a lot of resources to just proceed all this information so we gain over the day and each second, each hour, every time. So this would make sense, because our brain actually, I think, I do not know quite for sure, but I think our brain is just taking up the most of our fucking energy. I just deeply believe in it, because it's the unit that is working quite all the time. If you're asleep, if you're awake, it doesn't matter, it just works all the time. So for example, as you read, you are not aware of your left foot. Not that you're right, that you read it, though you might consciously think about it, but you're not aware of exactly what's on the side of your computer. If there is a noise coming from another part of your room, then you won't be aware of your computer for a while, because all your attention and sense will be diverted towards the noise. This is actually true, and this definitely, and this is actually the greatest part of really going through all these fucking summaries, is that you can build relations and connections between each and another, and there I just found a connection. The connection between really, if you focus on something, so if you focus on positivity, you will only find the fucking positivity. This is the thing that is just underlined by this article, because this article or this book says that if you just focus on the noise that is in just the fucking back of your fucking room, then you aren't actually going to keep attention to your computer. And then this makes sense that when you say, if you focus on positivity, you will only see the positivity. If you just really keep attention to the negativity, you will actually only perceive the negativity or find the negativity in life. So this is just pretty much underlining it. So basically at any time. So there is now a part, unfortunately, where there is music in the background, because my phone was some kind of so it was not on Do Not Disturb, and I had just music playing before, and this really fucked up maybe something of the recording, and it will definitely fuck up the monetization of it. But I do think that there may be something that I've been saying there that might be worth. I just really wanted to tell you that you maybe should turn down the volume a little bit. It might be a little bit louder than normally, so you do not get shocked or anything. So I'll definitely go ahead with it as usual. Let's see if it is working. Yeah, it is working. But it seems like something isn't that doing well. But yeah, just give a fuck about the stream right now. Yeah. Just fuck it. So, where did I stop? I think I've just stopped there. So if there's anything I haven't covered, David Eagleman uses a few more examples to highlight how our brain makes up facts based on pure assumptions. For example, our eyes have a blind spot, but we are not aware of it because the brain simply takes the information around the blind spot and quite fills it up. So here's an experiment to check your blind spot. I'm pretty fucking. So another popular one they created. So yeah, you should definitely be focused on the left one, I guess.
Wondering what to listen
and then
to
sometimes
next?
it disappears.
Why not try your flow?
Or it should disappear. Maybe I do have to
customized mix
make
made
it
by
a little
Deezer
bit bigger
just
so
for
that
you.
the room's a little
Listen
bit more.
to hours of your favorite music without having to look for it. Click on the banner and start your
Not
flow.
even. You can see this effect. It means you're sitting too close, far from your monitor. Try sitting closer to the screen and repeat the test. So have you managed to find the blind spot? So maybe there will be now a blind spot. I've had this test once. Maybe I have to go back a little bit more. or I think even closer. Just have to get to this a little bit closer. What the fuck? Do I have to make it a little bit bigger, actually? What the fuck? I'm so fucking close. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've done this one before, and I found it quite funny, and so I'm just pretty impressed that the author actually did it, or actually, put it into this description. But he's now really cranking up the fans, and I deeply hope that it is not too bad for the audio quality. But yeah. So the brain is plastic in the data it can accept, read and make sense of, which opens up the door to amazing future possibilities. We all be able to plug ultraviolet or infrared light data. Our brain will struggle at first, but eventually we'll learn to make sense of the information and use it. This would actually be a thing, we all just quite not develop, but envelop, just the verb of evolution. Or evolution, whatever, just never mind. Chapter 3, Mind the Gap. David Eagleman takes it one step further in chapter 3. Not only we don't grasp fully what is happening in the world around us, but we do not even consciously access all that we know. And it's not just breathing or blood flow, but it's also riding a bicycle or driving or whatever. These are all skills we have, but that we don't consciously access. These are all complex tasks ingrained within ourselves that would not benefit at all from conscious meddling. And we'll realize how complex these seemingly easy tasks are with artificial intelligence and robotics. Robotics started with quick progress, but for decades it hasn't overcome yet the most simple of human tasks. Crossing a road safely, walking on a sidewalk without falling etc. We like those who are like us. Just in terms of the mind gap, yeah, I think it's totally true that that we have so much in us, but our conscious mind just really isn't that big, or isn't that giving access to the subconscious mind. And I think there are certain ways you can increase that, maybe with meditation. A lot of people swear on meditation. I actually think it is good, but not in terms of really being a superhuman and just then being able to do something else. No, but in some kind of way to just really being able to control your feelings a little bit more, or just being able to this is actually the only quite experience I have with meditation. I just really tend to be a little bit more able to control my feelings and really see them, especially with impatience. Impatience may not be such a strong feeling, because with just really strong feelings I can't control them yet. So I've just been so fucking angry the whole day long, and I do not know why. And I haven't been able to control it, even though I just tell myself not to complain, not to just do shit, because it doesn't make any sense, because I have the best life one could have. I have everything. I do not need anything. I'm happy most of the time, and everything is quite good. So this is just actually something you have to remind yourself of. It's pretty important to live a happy life, at my point of view, to just really be sure that there is someone who isn't having it just way better or way worse than you are having it right now. But yeah, we're like those who are like us. This is actually a thing some people have. This is not something that could be applied to everybody, but some people have it. So if just people are really into themselves, just they really like themselves, the chances are just really good, or just really high, that they may like someone or be in a relationship with someone that is just quite like the same or quite similar to themselves. So people tend to marry a partner with the same initial of their name more often than pure chance otherwise would have. David Eagleman says it's because people with the same initial somehow remind us of ourselves, also discussed in Influenced by Cialdini, or Cialdini if it's an Italian name. Same goes for products we buy or say we like. We tend to prefer products with our same initial. Psychologists say it's because of unconscious self-love, or perhaps because we like things which are familiar. It's called implicit egotism. Here, it's implicit egotism on Wikipedia. And there is then quite a note from the author which says that I wish the author could have explained if we like people who are familiar with us because they remind us of ourselves, because we like things which seem familiar. Which does, I think, the same. So the author of this article just means the same as I was just before talking about. And I still wonder why the fans of my computer are just so pushy today. I don't know why. I just even, put down the, maybe I know. I do just have to see whether I think this is it. He might go down a little bit now. Yeah. So, let's see. Mirror exposure effect. David Eagleman also adds
sorry if it's hard to catch
what we are familiar with, and I hope there wasn't any sound.
I need a lover to trust. Tell me you're on my side. Are you down for the ride? It's not easy for someone to catch my eye.
The do not disturb mode, which I should always do.
But I've been waiting for you for my whole damn life. My whole
David Eagleman also adds we tend to like what we are familiar with. If we saw a face before, then we see it again. We'll judge it as being attractive, which is why some people open spotlight are not bothered by the negative pressure, but are happy anyway. They will have airtime and people will be exposed to them.
waste a day and
It's
spend
always,
the night
some
underneath the sunrise. Show me where you
sorry. I do have to cut it out in the video, because if I wouldn't, I would just really get fucked, sometime later, and I should just be doing it right now. Today is a really fucked up day. Today, even though I know that I shouldn't say that, today is a day that, it kind of feels like it should, or it is there to just challenge me and to see if I'm actually that sure about what I'm doing right now, especially what I am now doing. Because I don't know, today's happening so much that's not like in my not something like what I want to have, but it's what it is. Yeah. So mirror exposure effect. David Eagleman also adds we tend to like what we are familiar with. If we saw a face before and then we see it again, we will judge it as being more attractive, which is why some people in public spotlight or spotlighted are often not bothered by negative pressure but are happy anyway. They will get airtime and people will be exposed to them. And this is actually one of the reasons, as I started, just before, why a personal brand is just actually something that's pretty important to have if you're really willing to achieve something. So I'm not really generalizing it. It's just, it makes it better at my point of view, because if people know you and you are just really famous before you opened or made or just build up your company, it will make everything a little bit easier at my point of view. And this is the reason why, a lot of celebrities have their own perfumes or have their own products or even hotels or, underwear, because people know them. And, if you are known by a lot of other people, it is just good for you. It just makes sense for me, at least. Yeah. Similar, we are more likely to believe as true what we heard several times, independently of whether or not it was true in the first place. Trump used it across his campaign, even in the debate with Clinton. And this is actually some kind of fucked up here, because it actually makes sense. It as well could be could correlate your marketing efforts, or could be good for your marketing efforts if you just be so fucking overexposing your fucking brand so that you just put your ads everywhere, and then everybody sees it and they actually then think like, yeah, because they have seen it, your brand is maybe more attractive to them than before. Yeah. If this makes sense right now, I hope. So an experience showed people were more likely to rate as true statements they had heard before, but which they couldn't remember that they had heard. As crazy as it might sound, it worked even when people were told the statements was false. Energy and specialization. I have to put it a little bit like this. Yeah. The author then goes here into a well-known phenomenon of the learning process. Our brain are hyperactive and burn lots of energy when we learn a new skill. Once the skill is learned, though, the brain slows down. The skills become part of the brain system, and now not much energy is needed anymore, which makes sense because if you just learn something, then your brain definitely be like, I'll just have to put in more energy that I just get this skill as fast as I can, because it would make sense in terms of our evolution, or evolution actually, not evolution. If you just really think about your early fucking ancestors, it would make sense that it is fucking important for them to learn a skill really fast. Because just to think about maybe hunting, if a young guy learned hunting through osmosis most of the time, then they just really had to learn it as quickly as they could, or just because they needed it. The thing is, nowadays skills are not likely more like, you need them actually, but you really want them to to have or to be able to use. So so that's why when he is learning, he should push himself beyond the comfort zone. Deep practice, read the talent code for more on this. And when he is playing, he could be in the zone and not think much. That's when you can't trust your instincts, as Tim Grover says when he is referring to the very top performers he calls cleanness. So I do have to read it again because I have nothing gotten out of it. I do not know why. But yeah. So the skills become part of the brain system and do not need much anymore. An athlete who has become, I haven't, read that part. An athlete who has become great at the task will not think much about the task when he is playing. Actually true. That's why when he's learning, he should push himself beyond the comfort zone. And when he is playing, he should be in the zone and not think much. So when he's learning, he should be... That's when you can trust your instincts, as Tim says, when he's referring to the very top performance he calls cleanness. I don't know what the author wants to say with this, unfortunately, but yeah. Chapter 4, the kind of thoughts that are thinkable. David Eagleman is on a roll now. Can't read today, I'm so sorry. David Eagleman is on a roll now against the brain's capabilities. In chapter 4 he says that not only the reality we see is only a tiny portion, but also the thoughts we can think are very limited, which would then make sense, because if the whole world you're seeing is limited, your inner circle or your inner would definitely be some kind of filtered or just suppressed or whatever as well. We can't comprehend the vastness of the universe or the amount of stars and celestial bodies in it, for example. So we can't comprehend the vastness, I don't know. The same is true for our instincts. We can't see or access our instincts. That's totally true. And that's like a little bit of pity, because this would actually be quite great. Yeah. Would actually be quite great. Chapter 5, The Brain is a Team of Rivals. David Eagleman begins chapter 5 with Mel Gibson example. Mel Gibson viciously attacked Jews and then retracted everything. The author asks, was the reality, what is the reality? Does he really believe what he said about Jews, or is it possibly our brain holds different views at the same time? Is it possible to have a racist part of our brain and a non-racist part of our brain? Well, it turns out yes, our brain is constantly driven, it should be driven by different forces pulling in different directions. The author says, we could divide our brain into forces: rational part of our brain, analyzes information in the outside world, while the emotional part of the brain monitors internal state and worries about consequences. Yeah, this is definitely true. I don't know, I've heard this once before. It's either, it's quite, it's first of all the left side of your brain and the right side of the brain. And every side of the brain has some different functionality and has some different, things it should be doing. The thing is, I don't know what part is actually doing what, so I can't really put out this value now. Short term versus long term. I'm always in the long term game. Short term often tends to be like, yeah, you get the pleasure now, but at the end, you really fuck it up. And the long term thing is that, it might be not that great in the short term, but in the long term, everything just builds up exponentially. It's the same with what I'm doing right now. It might be especially not in the moment, because I actually just have to say that I'm not that feeling good mentally today. Actually, I do not know why. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. There's something that's actually subconsciously going on that might not be doing good for my body and for my mind, but yeah, it's just what it is, and I have to live with it and cope with it. And the best thing is not to complain about it, because actually, and I may have talked about it before or just in the beginning of the stream or the recording, that we should never complain, especially in my position. I do have everything I need. I do have my food, I do have my, clean room and everything. I don't need anything, this is actually the thing. I actually do not need any money. Because why? What should I do with it? I couldn't do anything with it. Nothing. So shout out to Victor. See you, man. Hope you have a wonderful day. Love you. Really, really mean it. Really, really fucking mean it, man. I hope you have a wonderful day. Yeah. So yeah, actually read it. You fucking made my day. Yeah, because he's actually, for the people who can't see it or just on the stream, not on the stream, but on the video and on the podcast, he has actually a name that is quite, not really an insider, but it's funny anyways. So, the feeling as someone offers you a piece of cake, or you sit down to eat and love the food. One part of us wants to eat everything, while another part of us wants to stay stronger so we can keep our weight. This is actually something that seems to be an internal struggle, because, I haven't until, or for the last, 3 years where I've been really eating so fucking clean. I've never had the feeling like, yeah, I really want to eat that burger or the chocolate or whatever is unhealthy, because, yeah, because there was no debation between, maybe it was something internally in my fucking body, in my fucking mind. Maybe there was something like it, but, I haven't found it consciously, so it might even not be there, because I think you can actually only feel something consciously when it's so fucking fired up internally in your fucking body that is so, just so hard to suppress. in terms of your brain suppresses your emotions, the filter it has, at my point of view, that there is no fucking way that, you could not just notice it. Yeah. So, yeah. One part of us wants to eat one part of us is concerned with the short term and indulge the immediate satisfaction, while another part of us wants to play the long game and do what's best for us. And actually always in the fucking long term, because short term satisfaction is such a piece of shit. My note: successful people are the ones able to resist the pull of the immediate satisfaction, control their own mind, and can instruct the body to do what is best in spite of the difficulties and hardships. This is what constitutes emotional intelligence. That's why Daniel Goleman said that emotional intelligence predicts 90% of success. And this is actually what's Dale Carnegie in his book How to Win Friends and Influence People is as well saying. He says that it is 20% of your skills in terms of how wealthy you'll get or how successful you'll get or whatever, and the other 80%, which is such a fucking lot, is just how you can deal with people and how you can, how your emotional IQ is, so your EQ, emotional intelligence, EQ, emotional and rational balance. David Eagleman says the internal struggle is actually optimal. We do need a balance of right now and future and a balance of rational emotional. And that's actually some kind of true. Just really going for the long term in every fucking kind of decision you make. So really everything might not work out. I can't think of an actual example right now, but it feels for me like, there might be some things coming up that might not be like, going into the long term might not be the best option. The author also mentions that current technology might pose a problem in the sense that in today's world we take a lot of decisions when we are far removed from the people that will be affected and that will make us emotional and hence less concerned for them. So Simon Sinek says, we remove physical presence, people are not people anymore but become cost lines in spreadsheets. Read, leaders eat last. And I do really want to end the recording. This might even be how long is it? It's around 39 minutes, something like this. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like it to really go through it. And the thing is, I do not want to go through it when I just can't be sure that I can give you, really, that I'm consciously about really giving you the value, because it doesn't feel like it for me now. I just, before I just finished the paragraph, before I was like, go through it, man, just push through it, go through it. I will do it like now for 40 minutes, because I do actually have a recording from before, which means that I have to render today's episode, which pisses me on so immensely, because it's just 1 hour more work than it is without actually, having to cut out things, and if everything would have gone just pretty good. I'm actually now thinking about really pushing now through it, because I've just, I will close that one and I will put up a game of chess, and I will talk besides playing chess. This is what I'm doing now. This is actually what I'm doing now, because I feel like even though I'm just really not that good at chess, it is something that I pretty much enjoy doing sometimes, and it might even be the better thing than just going through this one and not really providing any value to you. But besides playing chess, I will definitely be going to talk about something that's So there's actually on Twitch, which is the funny part about it. On Twitch you can actually you can actually, there is a category on chess, so which is quite interesting. I have never thought about is it this? Yeah, it's definitely this one. Okay, this should be fine right now. Yeah, this is, maybe it's a little bit big. Couldn't I, is this, no, this is not what I want. Actually not, definitely not what I want. But I do have to look at my own stream, but because it seems like that there is something going on with it that shouldn't be the thing. No, everything is actually fine. Everything is actually fucking fine. But yeah. But besides that, I really hope that the audio quality is doing quite fine today. And I do wanna, this right field fucking shit, I do not wanna see this one. I really do not want to. So let's see. Let's fucking see. No. Yeah, never mind. Never mind, so I just put it a little bit like this so that you can actually see me a little bit better. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I sit like this. This is even just really nice. But I really like always to go with one of these. It's just a pretty great one at my point of view. But yeah, well, what could I talk about? I've been, I've went outside today a little bit, and which is always a great thing, especially on the weekends where I do actually have the time to go around a little bit, just to calm a little bit down, and just to really calm a little bit down, just listen to some podcast, do something like that. This, it's working pretty fine for me, and yeah, it's working extremely fine for me, actually. So yeah, it might not be the optimal thing to just speak and have a game on that, you really have to think about as well. So I don't know, maybe not. But the thing is, I really hope that you are, first of all, healthy right now, and second of all, that you're doing really fucking good. Because this is one of the most important things at my point of view. You should always be pretty much feeling happy. I think if you're happy, everything comes along with it. So if you're happy, you definitely might be even some kind of healthy as well. And if you're happy, everything is good at my point of view. And what do you think about it? Do you think that actually being happy is the only thing you need? Or is there something else about it? So because at my point of view, if you're happy, you actually might not be even just thinking about, I'm not that wealthy, I do not have that much money. You might even, just give a shit about it. Because you're happy with what you're having. So yeah. No, this was... I thought about it. And, I just made a just really fucked up move right now. It was so fucking bad. So fucking bad. Oh my god. But yeah. So I really just hope that you are fucking happy. And that you are actually working on something besides your main job that actually is, fun for you. And that's making you happy. Because, without, having something that makes you happy, everything is fucked up, man. Everything. So, yeah, I just hope that you have something to be happy about. Not that quite sure what I should talk about as well. But you know, there's always the thing. I just think about so many fucking things during the day, and I'm always like, yeah, you know, man, I just really have to talk about this somewhere in my, you know, in my podcast or in any fucking episode. But then I really just forget about it, and you know, this is always the same thing, which is quite a pity. But yeah, just please stop this fucking recording, stop the podcast, and stop the fucking YouTube video if you're watching it right now, and really be just creating your fucking Instagram page or Facebook page, or actually might even your first episode of your podcast. Please do this right now, without anything else doing or thinking about. Just do it. It doesn't matter what you're talking about, it doesn't matter what you're doing, nothing matters. But the thing that you actually start doing something. This is the only thing. Please just start doing something. So, but I am not right into a good position right here. But I want to do this one. Because I actually can go through like this. And like, yeah, this maybe wasn't quite the best option, but yeah, maybe definitely not. But yeah, but I just, you know, I feel like I have to end the recording because I don't really feel like giving or having more value to give right now. It's not feeling that right. So I'll see you the next time, definitely. See you. And I wish you are lucky. I wish you have the happiness. I can't even talk right now. I just wish you the best, and I'm very sorry that I'm not in the optimal, you know, form today, which is quite a pity, and it's, you know, yeah. But never mind. See you.